And we don't usually do a shitload of sports on MSTV, but I like to get it in on it because I like sports. And so does Keefus, and that's why we're doing this here. So this is going to be like kind of a short strip version of what you see on the regular Muscle Sport TV YouTube channel.
A quick shit.
A quick shit. It's like one that it's like, I call it a clean sweep. You know, when it flies through your ass and you do one wipe and you're like, Jesus Christ, that's nothing.
Yeah, it's great. It's
but then you have other times where you fucking pushing it out for a half hour and it's like you got a magic marker stuck up your ass. You keep wiping and wiping and wiping.
Gets cut in half. No, the quick shits are like the magic douches. You just like, you go in there and you're like, oh my God, did I just douche my ass? What the hell happened?
I barely had time to scratch my nuts. But we're going to talk a little bit about the team that I root for, the New York Metropolitan Baseball Club, and their brand new general manager they just hired.
Straight from Austria in the Von Trapp family, Brodie Van Wagenen.
Okay. I don't know much about this guy because he's not a fucking GM. He wasn't a front office guy. He wasn't a player personnel guy. He's Jacob deGrom's agent.
CAA. That's probably one of the biggest baseball agencies.
Yes,
but he's outside of Boris's agency.
Yes, bigger than Rock Entertainment.
Rockefeller, yeah, bigger than Rockefeller Sports.
What the fuck are the Wilpons thinking
here? I think that they're looking to break the mold. They're keeping Omar Minaya as an international scout, and they're keeping J.P. Ricciardi.
I like Ricciardi's the one who should have got the job, in my opinion.
I think why Wilpon wants it, I think it was Sandy Alderson's said, give this guy a shot. Apparently him and Sandy Alderson, Von Wagenen and Sandy Alderson had some sort of good relationship.
Okay, but that doesn't mean he gets a fucking job.
Well, you know, Jeff Wilpon's going to run the show like he always does anyway.
Paris Wilpon.
Yeah. I think that the best thing that the Mets can do would be to start spending some money on their current players that they like and bringing in a couple of pieces.
But to me, all right, this is an experimental move. This is a thing like a fucking Tampa Bay Devil Rays would do. I said Devil Rays, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Paul DePodesta going to the Cleveland Browns.
Yes, the Cleveland Browns fucking, and obviously that Paul DePodesta was an assistant GM to Billy Beane, the whole Moneyball thing. You know, so he's been around. He was with the Mets. He was with the fucking Dodgers front office. He's been around a long time, and he's very good with like salary cap and things like that, and the Sabres and all of this shit. The stuff that I just find boring as fuck. More boring than bodybuilding, if that's humanly possible, but it is. So what happened is Paul DePodesta was hired by the Cleveland Browns, I think about 3 years ago, to work in their front office. How's that worked out for them?
Operationally, maybe the place runs like a fucking clock. You know,
they actually were having
the lawn gets cut, the fucking the windows get washed, everybody gets paid every 2 weeks. You know, maybe operationally the thing runs like a fucking ticks like a Swiss timepiece.
Maybe it does, but it obviously hasn't helped in fucking. Not that I watch the NFL, but I can't help it. I mean, Cleveland Browns were infamous for being winless and had one win the year before, and this year actually had a couple of wins, and then they fired Hugh Jackson, who I think was one of the worst fucking head coaches of all time. Everybody says, he's a quarterback guru. He's been brutal everywhere he is with the Raiders as a head coach. He's been terrible with his quarterback. So I don't really give a fuck about that. But to me, that's like with an experimental team that's bad for years. Like I use Tampa, even though they are successful. They're a fucking small market. They can spend pennies on the dollar. So you bring in a guy like this. I don't know. Did they give him a lot of money? I would give him like fucking rookie GM money because he has nothing to show.
That's probably
body of work.
That's probably what they had to give him.
But Ricciardi would have jumped on that as being the guy.
Right.
Finally, he was Alderson's fucking second whip for, with Oakland and all of that. That's another inside joke. So, to me, the Mets are bringing in this, and I hope they're not doing it just because they want to fucking make sure that DeGrom's happy and he resigns. Because that is the stupidest reason to do it. He will resign to me, I think he's the type of guy that's fucking, he wants to see it through. Mm-hmm. He likes the organization. He's brought them to a World Series. He's very possibly could win the Cy Young Award when they announce those things soon. I don't think you had to worry about You know, if anything, they should have. Does he have a younger brother that flamed out like Tom Glavine when they brought his brother up to play first
Jeff
base?
Glavine?
That's what you do. You throw a fucking flyer on the guy's fucking retarded cousin or something like that. Let him be bat boy and fucking lick his fucking own face for a couple hours. You don't bring a fucking GM in that's never been a fucking GM because he's this guy's fucking agent.
Never talk about business outside the family. You give him a living. You give Carlo a living, but you never talk business with them.
I don't know but see, that is what typical Mets type of move.
Well, look what they did in the NHL. Gary Bettman, before he was the commissioner of the NHL, he worked for the NBA.
Yes.
Right. I mean, I guess you're in commissioner area, so it's holding.
But he was kind of like David Stern's under guy. Right. He learned from Stern, ran the NBA fucking wonderful.
Right.
He did a great job. And I think Bettman's doing a great job with the NHL. I
think so as well, too.
I know that people yell about him and all that and shit. I don't know why. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with it?
I think it's more the people up in Canada. What happened was he lost certain small fan bases lost teams,
but they got some back.
And
he got he got the Winnipeg Jets back, which was great for fucking the NHL. I think great for Canada. I think more teams should go. I think the fucking Nordiques should come back.
I think the Hartford Whales should be.
I would love the Hartford Whales. They were high up. It was kind of Canada-ish, better than like the fucking the Carolina fucking Hurricanes.
Atlanta Thrashers.
Well, that's who the Jets became, the Thrashers, and the Hurricanes were the Whalers. But I don't know. To me, very questionable move by the Mets, and it seems to be a common fucking phrase thrown around on sports talk radio when you're talking about the Mets. When you're saying, "All right, now what?" I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling this is going to be like a fucking short experiment that does not work in their favor.
Well, only time will tell.
There's only one Brian Cashman in town.
Yeah, well,
I love Brian Cashman.
They still only have one championship in the decade, in the century we currently live in.
Brian Cashman has done a fucking amazing job.
There are some moves he makes that are
day
good,
one.
But they don't have a championship since 09 and only one in the century, so it's not very Yankee-like.
No, it's not. The boss would have fired him long ago if he was still alive.
And rehired him a few times.
And make light beer commercials with him.
Yeah.
But we just did a quick short shitload of sports. Make sure you watch us all the time. We have a couple of good episodes out about the top free agents in MLB. Hot Stove Baseball right here on Muscle Sport TV. We'll see you in a little bit after this quick break.
With Sting to play us out.